How you doing, Mr. Overtime?
I'm hanging out. What's the deal here? You're talking to Xanatos. You want to get him in?
Yeah, he's hopped into my chat, and he's willing to talk to you.
Okay. Well, I am totally down to do that.
Gaming for your sins.
So, to the people in the stage, Xanatos is one of the guys. JS Xanatos, Janus Syndicate Xanatos, is one of the guys who worked on G-Man Squad, Counter-Strike for Kids, or maybe maybe saying he was one of them is like a disservice. He was like the leader of the group, right?
Yeah, he was like the director.
I've had like a micro beef with him, I guess, mostly by proxy of the sexual gangster here.
Did you have a
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Hey, how you doing,
Hey.
Xanatos?
Oh, pretty good. You?
Good to talk to you. I'm doing pretty good.
Hanging out. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. So go ahead. Anything you want to talk about, go ahead. Let's do it.
Well, I was gonna have you on peer pressure, and then my friend, the sexual gangster here, reached out,
I
and
don't care.
there was a whole thing there, and that made me think you didn't like me. So that was really the crux of everything.
I mean, come on. Okay, so put yourself in my shoes, okay? So, like, you were a big thing over 10 years ago, and now you're fucking nothing. And it's like, oh man, do you want to do an interview? Like, what do you expect? Like, of course I don't want to do an interview. Like, I don't want to be asked questions that, oh, why are you such a fucking failure? You know what I mean? Like,
I get
yeah,
that.
that's the whole. I mean, I don't want to say it in any more words than that, but that's the whole story.
Okay, I guess that's understandable.
Yeah. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
I guess that's fine.
Well, shit.
But I don't know, man. You know, that shit was hard. So when I made all those old videos, I was like fresh out of high school, and I had been a nerd for my entire high school career. And it's like, now I'm like somebody, and now I want to like go talk to girls and do all this other fucking dumb shit that doesn't fucking matter. And I dropped everything that I had that was like meaningful, and I had all this momentum, and I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm gonna go try and be like a normie, like a real life person now. And guess what? It didn't end well. So that's my whole story. And like, you know, I don't want to really like revisit that. So it sucks, man. Especially being a guy that like made like videos that is dumb. You know, a video that is so fucking dumb like the G-Man Squad. Like, you know, you really don't even want to like revisit that period because it's like it doesn't even. It feels like a fucking dream at this point. Like that shit was fucking 2008. Like it feels like a dream at this point. So you really don't want to. You really don't want to revisit that kind of time period because I mean, honestly, it was just so much better than it is now. I mean, now, like I say, I mentioned on his live stream about the TikTok thing. It's like that shit has kind of like taken over. You know, all the social
TikTok
media
thing?
bullshit, and TikTok has kind of like taken over the whole kind of like internet landscape. So you really, in order to be a content creator, you have to dumb yourself down to be like kind of like an idiot in order to appeal to people. And like, you know, obviously I don't agree with that. So.
I don't think that's true, you know, like at the same time, you know, like really long form like YouTube content has gotten like popular in the past 5 years.
You could say I'm an example of that.
But you need like GoPros, you know, is it like that GoPro content? Well, look at me, I'm visiting a random foreign country, and
No, it's like documentary style content.
No, come on, Xanatos. That shit's always been around, just in different formats. Like most of like television history was like dog shit, like sitcoms. Like lowest common denominator shit is always gonna be there. Like I think you're just having selective memory about that.
But no, but seriously, like I said this in my one live stream, like in order to really get your name out there, you really have to spam links in as many places as you can possibly think of, right? And today, that's a lot harder to do, whereas 10 years ago, that was very easy to do. Like, okay, I'm just going to spam my link here, and here, and here, and now, it's like, well, I got to post on Facebook, I got to post on Twitter, but you need help in order to do that, and I don't know, it's definitely a big difference between now and 10 years ago.
You know, I never had to do that much guerrilla marketing for my channel. I just posted it in a couple of adjacent Discord servers. I don't think it's that much different than like the MySpace Newgrounds days.
To be fair, Richter, you also got really lucky.
I mean, that's true. That's just true.
Oh fuck yeah! You're gonna say that around me? Like, come on, man! Like,
You got
know what
lucky
Counter-Strike
too.
for Kids was
You got lucky too,
That video's
Xanatos.
gonna get 10,000 views, and it got fucking 18 million. So yeah, I can totally vouch for the luck thing. Like, luck is pretty much 75% of it. You know, like no, so yeah, no. Anyways, so luck is a big part of it because I can tell you this about YouTube and videos and everything in general. The right person has to be watching at the right time in order for you. You know, that's why I think Counter-Strike for Kids had all those kind of fucking views, because the right person was watching like the channel like right after it was posted, and he posted the link in like 2 or 3 places, and next thing you know, you have all these people sharing it. So it's definitely, you know, this internet shit is all about luck. I don't want to say, yeah, it's 90% luck. I mean, that's my opinion, but I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, yeah, that's just the nature of the beast, isn't it? You
Well, how much of life in
but
general is luck?
Yeah, it's not just YouTube. It's like pretty much any, like if you want to get into the business of entertainment, it's luck. It's about getting in front of the right person.
But like, I don't know if this has anything to do with like the algorithm or whatever, but like back in the day, like if you just posted your video on a certain day at a certain time, you were guaranteed to have some chance at success. Whereas if you posted at like 4 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, like nobody's gonna care. So I don't know if that still rings true to this day, but like,
Not as much.
I can tell you this, like back in the day, even 10 years ago, there was a focus on, okay, we gotta if we're gonna have like a good video, we have to post it at a certain day and a certain time.
Well, that's still kind of true. You still want to post on like Wednesdays or like Fridays or over the weekend, but YouTube has actually tried to do a like kind of a leveling system. They actually say that while the time that you post a video might impact it in the short term, that it won't have any long-term effect on your video's performance. They actually like promise that.
Yeah, but like say they gotta follow through with that promise too. So I don't know.
I
Everything
posted
I've seen-
videos at 4 in the morning that have done well.
Well, yeah, so like after like a couple of days or like immediately.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
not immediately, because I mean, how many people who speak English are going to be online at 4 in the morning? But
That's what I say. You're American, right?
Yeah, we're both American. You know, God
Yeah,
bless.
that's what's weird. Like, cause you know, I know if you can post things late at night, you know, you'll have those West Coast people at least. You know, so that's at least one thing. Like, okay, I'm posting things at 2 o'clock in the morning. At least the people in California are still probably going to see it. You know, so you have at least that when you're from North America.
I guess that's true.
No, I don't know, man. Everything I've seen in the last 5 years has very much depressed me. So you guys have to try and boost me up, I guess, a little bit. 'Cause I'm not going to provide any positive takes in any sort of way.
You know, Xanatos, you got a real sour attitude, don't you know? In times of hardship, you know, you got to be able to perk up and keep fighting. It's the name of the game.
like you know, like I said this in that live stream, like you could just go on Face Punch and okay, so this is like one of my dirty dark secrets, and like I really don't want to admit this, and I did not admit this in my live stream, but back when I was, you know, a new kind of kid 10 years ago, I would post a forum thread, and I would make people bump the forum thread for me by posting like these stupid replies like, oh yeah, that's funny, or oh yeah, this is a cool video. You know, when the forum thread was just like dead in the water. And I would go, hey, can you like post in this thread quick to like just kind of bump it a little bit? And people did, and like I say, I don't want to say like that's why I had any sort of like more success, but like, hey man, you got to do what you got to do. Like
If it
I say, I
works.
don't feel like like I feel like a fucking idiot for doing that now, but I mean seriously,
I mean,
like I
that's
think
just-
it worked.
Yeah,
10
that's
years
just
ago.
guerrilla marketing. You know, that's just
Yeah, so exactly, yeah, what you were guys talking about like a little bit ago. So
Yeah.
no, it's something that I did, and like people would be like, "Oh man, no, I don't want to do it. No, man, I don't want to do this right now." But guess what? I just had to tell them like 3 times, "Hey, can you please do it?" And they did. And like seriously, unfortunately, that probably did work, and that's probably why some people are like, "Oh yeah, you only had your success because you post on a bunch of forums." And it's like, well, I
If it
mean,
were
what the
that
hell
easy.
else are you supposed to? Yeah, what else are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do?
That implies that like everybody could make it by posting on a couple forums.
Oh,
Like,
10 years
sign
ago,
me
maybe
up.
not so now. I say you're about 10 years late to doing something like that. So
Yeah.
You know,
Nowadays,
Xanatos,
yeah.
I'm 19 years old and I have an older brother who's 27, and I remember looking over his shoulder. He was in the server when you guys were filming the 3rd episode of the G-Man Squad on the train.
that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
That's real. That's real. That's actually true.
Oh my god.
I remember going, I heard like you yelling at somebody, telling him to like get back on track with the fucking video.
I was a full-on dictator.
And I remember being like, "Are you playing with the G-Man Squad?" And he's like, "Yeah." And it's like on the shitty Half-Life deathmatch source. And I was like maybe like 8 or 9.
I was a psycho then, and I'm a psycho now. So you know, a lot of times. Okay, so maybe this is probably the only explanation that I can give you for that, because you would have a lot of guys who would be like, "Oh yeah, I want to help out. I want to help make your movie," and then guess what? They joined, and all they want to do is like screw things up. And they want to make your life a living hell.
That,
You
like,
know
I feel
what?
like my time is being wasted.
Xanatos, there was I interviewed Das Bullshit, and he told me an anecdote where he was working with you on some. He said he was working with you on something. Maybe it was John Freeman related. I actually don't fucking know. I don't remember what he said.
Hold on.
But well, what I was about to say isn't an embarrassing story. But what are you gonna say? It sounds funny.
This was from Source Wars.
From Source Wars?
Yes, the second Source Wars. And I was asking him, like, how did you do all that shit you do in Gary's Mod, basically? And he literally, for 15, 20 minutes, pulled me aside on a Gary's Mod server and tried to teach me everything that he did. And maybe I had kind of like a, I don't give a kind of shit attitude, right? And I think he took it the wrong way. Like maybe I like wasted his time or something like that. But this is a true story. Right after the first Source Wars, I played a long game of Gary's Mod with him where he tried to teach me, and I think he kind of picked up on the fact that this was like, oh, you know, maybe like I don't really fucking understand what he's talking about, so what the hell are we doing? But Daspo? No, wait, you said Daspo. I'm talking about a story with Fancy Pants, so okay, I'm getting names mixed up here, so never mind. I just told you a story that has nothing to do with Daspo.
Shit.
I've actually never
funny,
spoken to Daspo. I've never said a word. Maybe we've like exchanged comments once or twice, but oh my god, I thought you were talking about Fancy Pants.
Das Bullshit said that you worked with him on something or other, and that you guys used to have like a bunch of people who you'd like have in the server to help with the machinima, and then like they would start fucking shit up, so you would teleport them to like a room out of bounds and give them boxes to stack so they would stop fucking up the production.
That was definitely not me. That was probably Daspo. You know, it's weird because I hear Daspo's name a lot, but I don't think I've ever once spoken to him, and I've spoken to a lot of those old school farts. So
Yeah, I could have sworn he brought up your name a couple times when I interviewed him.
I mean, gosh, obviously we watched each other and paid attention to each other, but it's just one of those cases where we never spoke to each other, and he is honestly probably more popular than me. Like, I mean, gosh, you know what sucks about what I did? Like, all my videos were on that Machinima channel, so all I was really doing was helping the Machinima channel and not helping myself at all.
Well, that's a very similar
Ross
predicament
figured
to
that out.
Ray
No, and I
Cokehead.
didn't.
Yeah,
Ross knew
got Ray
exactly what
Cokehead.
to do, and I kind of fucked that up. So whatever, I don't give a fuck. I mean, whatever.
I mean, you still get all the
Hey.
re-uploads.
Ross is still going, yeah, but that doesn't help me any. But like, say, Ross is still going strong today. He had that fucking blog, you know, and he's pretty much kept himself together because of that kind of stuff, you know. Like, all my fans, you got to watch my blog every single week and watch for my latest. And you know, he kind of sold people on that idea, and that's why he still has such a large fan base today. And I mean, I don't know, you know, the whole thing about Ross is like he did that whole civil protection thing, and like. He did all those videos that required so much work. And, like say, I can relate to the same thing myself with Counter-Strike for Kids. Like, all you need is a really simple, stupid idea, like Freeman's Mind, and next thing you know, you are going to be set for the next 2 or 3, 4 years. And that was the same thing with me in Counter-Strike for Kids, right? Like, because I used to spend 1 month on all of those fucking old videos. And then, next thing I know, I make Counter-Strike for Kids in 3 days, and it fucking gets 18 million views after 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And
Still
the
quoted,
same thing
too.
happened with Ross. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't get, like, too complicated. Don't get too serious. Like, keep it simple, stupid, and next thing you know, like, you know, Ross is still making that fucking dumb shit today, you know, and he's still living off that shit. So
actually,
what does that tell
Ross
you?
is making.
What does that tell you?
Ross is also making, like, he doesn't make Civil Protection anymore, and he's been making Ross's Game Dungeon, which is like way better than anything else he ever made before, in my opinion.
Oh no, but Xanatos hates Ross's Game Dungeon. He hates the Deus Ex episode.
Wait. I don't know if I know what you're talking about, but sometimes I don't know. Like when he ventures off from, so he did like that Duke Nukem stuff. You remember that when he did like he did some kind of like take on Freeman's mind that was set in like Duke Nukem or something.
Oh, he did one in Doom.
I thought that was so bad. I thought
it was an April Fool's episode. It's allowed to suck.
Yeah, and I've been there too. But I mean, you know what I mean.
Jeez.
I don't know. He just obviously had like a better game plan than I did, so I'm a little salty about it. Like, what do you want me to say? I mean, God, the fucking appeal of some of our old videos was like, okay, we have some kind of like circus of people from around the world. Like, we had a guy from England, a guy from Germany, a guy from Australia, a guy from Canada. You know, it's like, okay, this is our appeal. Like, we just want to be different from everybody else.
You know, I was under the impression
that works
you
for a
had,
minute,
like,
but it doesn't
beef
work
with
like long term. You know, you know, when you have like being unique is not everything. Like, you have to be more than just, oh, I'm different than everybody else. Like, you still have to kind of find a way to, like, appeal to people. Then they're just, oh, I'm different than everybody else, you know?
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously. I mean, ultimately, what I think I think people make it, like, more complicated than it needs to be. I think what it really comes down to is just have good content that people want to keep coming back and watching.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like Ross's Game Dungeon has got me coming back. Like Freeman's Mind, I grew up watching it. Like I watched it when I was a dumbass little kid, and so like I would laugh at anything. But like Ross's Game Dungeon, like I actually think that's probably his strongest like series, like period. Like
yeah, 'cause, I mean, sorry, not to throw. I have respect for him and everything like that, but it's definitely not Freeman's Mind. Like, you can't possibly say Freeman's Mind is the best thing he ever did.
I mean, you know, I know some people who are really obsessed with Freeman's Mind and who are really into it. And they all watch his children.
5 hours.
Yeah.
They want to kill 5 hours.
You know, you might like this video that I've got coming out at the end of this month, Xanatos. It's called Freeman's Mind Jeopardy. I've got like three big source YouTubers come together and compete in a game of Jeopardy to see who knows the most about Freeman's Mind.
I want to do like some kind of like impression of Ross right now and like make fun of him, but I probably would just fucking fail right on my
You know,
face.
I interviewed Ross because I had the impression that you really didn't like him, and I asked him if there was like some history between you two, and he was like, "No, we used to make videos at the same time. I don't know any reason he would dislike me."
He was way more I mean, what do you want me to say? He's way more popular. Like, what do you want? You know. And anyways, yeah, that's all I have to say. He fucking did it better than I did. Like, what do you want me to say?
Wow.
Pretty much. And you know, that's why I did that vlog about, like, dude, like, seriously, like, when I was making Half-Life videos, it's like, okay, I only know the video I'm working on now and the video I'm working on next. And he probably had, like, his whole schedule kind of, like, mapped out. And that's what it takes to be successful on the internet. Like, you have to know. And, I mean, God, look at all these people who do shit in real life, like, they know what they're doing for the next fucking 6 months. Like, I didn't know what I was doing for the next 6 days. You know, like, you got to know how to plan ahead.
Well, yeah, part of that was just like you were in it while you were still basically a kid.
Yeah, like I say, man, I'll just say this. I'm going to get into, like, life advice and shit like that. I don't know how many of you are 18 or 21 years old or what country you're from, but you have to make sure if you're, like, taking off in those early teen years that you know what the hell you're doing, you know what the hell you're going to be doing for the next 3 or 4 years, and you know how to plan for the future. Because, let's say, I thought I was the coolest motherfucker in the world at 21 years old, and look what it got me 10 years later. Like, I'm a fucking loser with no friends. So make sure, if you got things going for you at the peak of your life, you keep that going for you. You sustain that kind of fucking momentum for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Otherwise, you're going to be like me, you're going to be depressed, you're going to be a borderline alcoholic, you know, for probably the rest of your life. So make sure you know what the fuck you're doing. in the future.
It sounds
Plan
like you
ahead
really resigned
right now.
yourself to your
Hey,
fate.
the next week is not good enough. You got to know what you're doing for the next fucking month or two. You know, I mean, that's the best advice I can give any young person out there.
I mean,
Right.
it's not bad advice. Plan ahead.
You got to, and not just a week. You got to plan way further than that.
I've been saying this to Richter since day one.
But yeah, so it's pretty hard because how do you know?
Toast doesn't give a shit.
You can plan. No, of course I do, because you can plan a video like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this 1 month from now, right? Like I got all these things kind of lined up, but then one part of that kind of equation can kind of fall apart, and it's like, oh shit, what do I do now? And there's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? Like you know, there's so many things that can go wrong, and that's why I guess it's so important to plan ahead.
I mean, yeah. Like, totally agree. I feel like there's a big problem where, like, a lot of people when they're young just don't really give that big of a shit about their lives. And they just kind of go with the flow and don't really, like, put a whole lot of thought into the future.
But those are also the kind of people that will kind of gladly hop on board. Oh, this guy's got something going on. Why don't I just get involved with his project? And I don't know. Like I say, you got to have a loyal crew, but at the same time, you have to have like a realistic vision of the future.
Oh yeah.
I don't. It's so hard, especially in this day and age, because 10 years ago when I was doing this shit, like people just wanted to be a part of it because that was cool. That was the cool thing to do at the time, and now it's like, well. I hate to fucking go back to the TikTok comment that I made earlier, but it's like, what's cool now? Okay, I'm just gonna make some fucking stupid dance video with my girlfriend and fucking post it on TikTok and look at me on pop. You know, if you did that shit 10 years ago, you would have been fucking made fun of so bad. You know, so I don't know. The whole point is like you have to kind of adapt to what's going on now, because today it's like Snapchat. What is it, TikTok, what is it, all this fucking other dumb shit. And like I told you before, like you might think only little kids use TikTok, but that's not true. Like you got like fucking people in their 40s on that shit too. So I don't know, if you can figure out today's landscape, more power to you, because I guess that's where the future is. So, and the money, so who knows.
I see.
So I don't know. Become a TikTok star. What do you want me to tell you?
Actually,
I don't know.
From what
Why
I've
are you
heard,
asking me? Tim Beek's the one who put this all together. I just said, hey.
Well, Xanatos, from what I hear about TikTok stars, they say it's really hard to actually like monetize and have a career on TikTok unless you're like in the top percent. Whereas with
what
YouTube,
about like Instagram though? Like Instagram did the whole Facebook thing, and like you can post dumb shit on Instagram and get paid for that, right? Like,
but like only like the top like 0.001% make any fucking money. Whereas with YouTube, there's like an entire like class of people now who just like
Dude,
get
I don't
by
know
by
how many
making
people
YouTube
listening
videos.
to this know me or know the whole machinima thing, but like, okay, I made Counter-Strike for Kids. I made that video in 3 days. I thought it was only going to get like 20,000 views. It ends up getting like fucking 18.5 million views in 10 years. How much money do you think that dumb fucking company in Los Angeles made off that dumb fucking video compared to me? So all these people that think like I'm a fucking rich person from that video, like, you know what? Imagine how much fucking money they made off ad revenue off that stupid piece of shit. And I mean, I don't know. So they should be calling me right now and like thanking me, I guess. You know, after all these years. And obviously they didn't like me very much.
You know, do you remember Ray Kofed?
Yes, he was awesome. He was awesome. Yeah,
I got to interview him for my last video, or one of my last videos. Seems like you two would get along.
Yeah, we did actually back in the old days too. Just because we were doing the kind of same stuff, but you know Lit-Fuse Films, right? Like Zachariah and Steinman and them.
Oh,
No,
you've talked so much about them though in your fucking videos.
Yeah, they're a very interesting bunch. But you had this kid from Florida named Zachariah who. What did he make? He made, what is that, Combine Nation? Have you ever seen Combine Nation, Richter?
I'm not.
Oh my!
How have you not seen Combine Nation?
Oh,
Come
maybe
on.
I don't know it by name. What's Combine Nation?
It was like a cop show, except with Combine.
Yeah,
And, like the writing was
yeah,
fucking dog shit. Like the production was great, but the writing was awful.
So he just explained Zachariah in a nutshell.
Okay.
Great fucking cinematography, great production, but it's like, oh my god, this is actually kind of boring. You know, it's like, okay, great, you got great visuals and you got great editing, but as far as the content goes, it's a little bit lacking. And anyways, So, and my whole situation was like the total reverse of that. Like, okay, we got great content, but fucking shitty production and shitty. So that's kind of why we didn't really get along. But that's the thing I can tell you about the old school internet. Your video could be edited like total dog shit, and your video could be told like fucking a mess. But as long as you have good content, that's all that matters. That's all that people care about. Yep. If your video is funny, if your video has like content that is good, I don't care that your editing is poor, or I don't care that your fucking like cinematography is dog shit. Like, this is funny. That's all I care about. And I noticed that like at a very young age, and it's probably still true to this day. Like, you would probably agree. Would you think that's still true to this day? Like, nobody cares really about production honestly, value. They care about content.
My the biggest videos on my channel were pretty much like my earliest, where I just like it was just like me shitting shit out, and people seemed to really like it, even though honestly I don't think the content in that was good either. But it's definitely, I would say, having good editing will definitely get you it'll get you ahead, but it's not going to carry a channel.
True, yeah, because I used to get comments about that too, but like the average person doesn't know what a good edit is or what a bad edit is, so you really just have to play it by ear.
100% true. Totally agree with that.
I mean, I would argue I've only really learned how to start actually editing my videos like 2 months ago.
That's all it takes, man. You just gotta practice to get better at it.
How messed up would it be if we had Leadhead in here? Have you ever heard of Leadhead?
No.
Why would you want Leadhead in here?
It'd be really because Leadhead was probably a fan. Leadhead was watching like all the same content around the same time. She probably watched the G-Men Squad.
Maybe. Why don't I hit up Ross and ask him to shoot?
Yeah, that would be fucked up.
And, oh man, I've said a lot of bad things about him, and I regret it.
It's okay. I don't think I can actually even get in contact with him. I'm pretty sure I was talking to him on like a burner account.
He lives in the woods. He's never going to watch a live stream because I'm just like a little fish in the pond. But like, my main beef with him was like he cried on his blog for like. So you're aware he moved to Los Angeles and got totally fucking burned, right?
Yeah.
So like, he cried on his blog for like a year about that, and it's just like, man, I get it. You're looking for sympathy, but like this is kind of the wrong way to do it. I don't know what to say, but anyways, he's way more fucking successful, and it's interesting. I honestly thought like he never actually like acknowledged me because I honestly like he was kind of like, okay, so if you rank like a top 5 people, like go on Facepunch and go on like the movie forum and ask like, who do you think are like the coolest 5 people that made Gary's Mod and Half-Life and Counter-Strike videos? Ross was number 1, and I was like number 5, right? But I don't know. He really knew how to kind of. So he took the whole machinima thing completely to his advantage, and me, I was just like, I don't give a fuck. I just want to like go have sex with girls in college. So I think he had the right idea, and I didn't.
Xanatos, what did you end up going to college for?
Oh, God, don't even ask, because I don't do it now. It's a waste of time and money, and all I did was pretty much go there to try and chase after a girl, so I really don't want to talk about college that much.
What is it you do now? Are you still living off G-Man Squad?
No. I mean, the channel's dead now. And plus, back 5, 6, 7 years ago, when that channel still existed, like, what was I making? Like a fucking baby amount? Like, I mean, the shit fucking released in 2009, so none of that shit's been around for a while. I'm working like a fucking $20 an hour job, which is fucking, it sucks. And it's a fucking dead-end job. I mean, so my whole point is, like, if you think I fucking made all this fucking bank off that fucking machinima YouTube shit, like, look at me now, man. Do you think I really, like, came out on the better end of this shit? Of course not. Like, I live in a fucking apartment by myself. Fucking, it's a shitty apartment. Like, it's not fucking lavish in any fucking way, shape, or form. Like, wow, man, I really fooled all those guys that I made videos with. Look at me now, fucking living by myself, no fucking friends. You know what I mean? Like, so I kind of had this reputation of just like, oh, yeah, man, we fucking screwed people over, but it couldn't be any more further from the truth. Like, we just wanted to make videos, and we would have done it had we not made any fucking money at all. So, I don't know. It was a different time 10 years ago, and obviously it's a lot different now. But there's no point in really being nostalgic about the past because the past is the past. And I've read so many takes on the internet about how everything is going to be memory hold in the future. Like, say, this video from 5 years ago or 10 years ago that you really liked? Yeah, you'll probably never see it again, in 5 years from now because it's going to be taken off of YouTube or some fucking algorithm is going to just fucking bury that shit and you will never see that video again. And that's honestly how I feel about that whole 2006, 2012 period of internet. Like, it's all going to be memory hold. You are all very fortunate and lucky to have experienced it. But for the most part, in 10 years ago, nobody's going to have a fucking clue what it is. And I don't mean to be depressing or anything like that, but I think it's a fact that you guys all have to kind of realize because this shit is not going to be around forever. The shit that you see on the internet right now is not going to be around, in 10 years, 20 years from now. Eventually it's going to be taken down, and you're never going to see it again, and people aren't going to know it. So I say we got to kind of relish in this time that we're
I don't have quite the same depressing mindset that you do. I started doing YouTube a year ago on these old ass video games no one in their right mind should care about, and I managed to get what am I at, like 110,000 subscribers in like a year off fucking Gmod and TF2 videos. So I don't think it's true that everything's just gonna die a permanent death, in 5 years. Because I just did a video. About Ray Kofed's in the virtual end video, which has become like a giant super viral meme everywhere, and that's a video from 2006 or 7. So I don't know if I resonate so much with the idea that everything's just gonna die and everything sucks and there's no point.
I think the main thing is is there somebody who's going to back up that sort of upload or back up that kind of footage? Because if nobody backs it up, then there's. So I used to make fun of people. So 5 years ago, you would go online and see somebody say like, "Oh man, you better download this video before it gets taken down because it has some controversial shit or some bad language." Right? And you would look at somebody saying that as like, whatever. No, that's not going to happen. But they were kind of spot on. They were exactly right. Like, dude, you probably should download these videos that you think might get taken down in 5 years, because if you're the only one that does it, then and nobody else does, then who's going to have that except the person who originally uploaded that video?
Were we talking about internet censorship?
Yes, pretty much.
But wait, what does that have to do with the Ray Kofed video I did?
No, but I'm just saying, like, what if that video gets taken down in 5-10 years and nobody downloaded a backup? And then
why would it get taken down?
I don't fucking know. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons.
It's a valid point, but Xanatos, you have to keep in mind, we live in a world where YouTube has a download button built directly into the browser now.
True, but I mean, that doesn't mean
we're in a culture. We're in a culture that's obsessed with archiving everything. Like back in the 80s, you would have entire production crews putting together episodes for TV shows that you literally cannot find to watch anymore. Meanwhile, people are still talking about 15-year-old Gary's Mod YouTubers that made videos when they were 14 years old and still preserving that. Now is the best time probably in history for people to archive all of this shit, and they do.
Yeah.
I hope they do. I guess my concern is that they don't. I don't know.
Quite frankly, all this shit, people still know about the G-Man Squad, even though those videos have been gone for so long.
As long as you know about episode 1. Yeah, episode 1 is I consider episode 1 a piece of history.
Listen, people still know about Freeman's Mind. These are things that
I'm running late.
in the universe just should not have anyone giving a shit about them at all. Nobody should have cared, and yet people do. People still fucking do.
I mean, how much of that has to do with Face Punch? I'm sure, I know I had a lot of people that say, "Oh yeah, only because of Face Punch have people seen your videos." But it's is that the same thing with Ross and people like that?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because that was my whole point with my last live stream. It's you have to post on forums and you have to post your link everywhere if you want to be seen, and you just gotta have your fingers crossed that the right person is going to see it. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing? You just making videos for yourself? I will say this about people who are content creators and people who make videos. They think, oh, I'm just doing this for myself. Like, I'm just doing this for me. I'm making this video for myself. But that 9 times out of 10 is a lie. Like, you are making this because you want to have an audience, and you want an audience that's going to look at this and say, oh, yeah, this is funny, this is awesome. You know what I mean? So anybody that says, I'm just doing this to, like, make myself heal or, like, make myself feel better, I think it's a lie. Of course, one of the first things on your mind is, I am making this video because I want to impress the viewer. You know, so anybody that's saying, like, I just want to, like, do this because, oh, man, this is making me feel better, like, I'm sorry, you're full of shit.
Well,
do you agree or not?
I mean, yeah, it's a career. Like, if you're working in entertainment,
depending on if you're doing it as a career or if you're doing it as a hobby, I think it's the same thing. Like, you know, you are doing it to have an audience or for an audience, rather, that's not just yourself.
It depends. Like, I feel like people can approach it in different ways, but I think what you're saying is mostly true for the cases where it's people who are, like, trying to actually make a living off of it. Because there are plenty of people who just make shit and put it out there, and it's, like, just for themselves and maybe their friends. But, like I don't want to discount that, like, yeah, that kind of content exists and is out there. Like, people are constantly spitting shit out into YouTube for, like, whatever reason. But, like, what you're saying is, like, totally 100% on the money for, like, doing it for a living.
And I mean, I guess if there's any point that I want to make, it's that it's so much harder to do it now than it was in the past.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, Richter probably is doing pretty well for himself, and he has. But I'm just saying, man, if you were 10 years prior, man, you probably could have gone to the moon if you just, hindsight's always 20/20. But if you could have done this shit 10 years ago and you knew exactly what you were gonna do for the next 5 years, man, you'd probably be set, man. Because obviously, like, in my case, I didn't fucking give a shit or care. So it's hard, man. It's hard, and it's not getting easier. It's not getting any easier.
Well, here's my question: is not to Xanatos, but to you, yourself. What's your future gonna be? What do you have planned? You say it's so important to plan. What's your plan?
Drinking beer and shit.
That's your plan?
No, but like that. Yeah, probably. But like, did you see that fucking video I posted on my channel like a month or two ago?
I don't think I did. No, I haven't been keeping up with them.
Wife or a child? That's my plan. I want a wife or a child. I don't care about really editing videos anymore. I just want a wife or a child. That's my plan. I'm sorry, that's probably not the answer you were looking for. But I mean, I'm 32. I'm 32 years old. Like, what do you want? What do you want me to say? Like, oh yeah, I want to make a fucking video that's got more views than CS for kids, man. Hell yeah! I'm like, no, I want a wife or a child.
I mean, maybe your child will make a video. Like, maybe your child will like get really popular on TikTok.
Yes. Xanatos Jr.
I don't know. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you see all the fucking people around you getting married and having kids, and it's like, oh, fuck, I want that. So that's where I'm at in life. You'll feel the same way when you turn 30, so have that. You can have that to look forward to, everybody. Enjoy.
Oh, God.
Well, that's already set in for Dimbeek.
Yeah. Has it?
You told me it did.
Xanatos Jr. is gonna make a G-Man squad for TikTok. That's what somebody said.
Oh, God. That's awful.
I think that comment's hilarious. Good job. Good job, Ghibli House.
You know, what would you do if you, Xanatos, if you had a child and he was just the Ross Scott of children?
What does that even mean?
I'll let you interpret it, in whatever way you want, that question.
What?
Hey, man, if my child can be like Ross Scott, then holy shit, man. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I never interacted with Ross. I never talked with him, but like, there's no point now because he's way more successful than all of us. So who cares? Like,
he's not that successful. Like, he's got longevity.
He's living pretty modestly. He's just kind of hanging out in
Richter,
Poland.
Richter, I have a question for you then about Ross, then, since you've maybe talked to him. Do you think he used that whole fallout from Machinima to his advantage? Like, do you think he kind of geared that in a way like, oh shit, this whole website's falling apart. I am going to plan ahead so that I can come out on top of this fucking bullshit and take advantage of it.
Are you asking me if I think Ross is like a dumbass or like because I think he obviously did.
So no, I'm just saying. Do you think he like planned for this shit to like work out in his? I'm not saying. I'm not asking.
Listen, I was like maybe.
I'm not asking if you think he's a dumbass. Do you think he like planned? Like I'm gonna calculate. I'm gonna carefully calculate what I'm doing here. Do you think he did that?
You know, I'll be honest, maybe, but Ross doesn't seem like a particularly strategically minded guy.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because he moved to fucking Los Angeles, so of course not.
Well, now he's living in Poland, and he just like eats shit, and he dries his clothes.
Life behind just to like eat beans for cheaper.
How does this fucking happen? He goes from Canada to Los Angeles to fucking Canada again to fucking Poland.
I didn't know that.
Like what?
We're just hanging out.
What?
This fucking like Ross Scott, he dries his fucking clothes like in his living room, and then he gets mold in his apartments. Like that's real.
That's why he had to leave Los Angeles. Like, oh fuck, I got a little bit of mold here.
I'm not even like this isn't even a joke. He's made videos about mold.
Riveting stuff. That's just as fucking entertaining as Freeman's Mind. I guess. So there you go.
Yeah, watching mold grow on the wall.
You think he has like witty one-liners he says to himself as he looks at the mold?
This is how I look at him. Like he was spending all that time on those civil protection videos, and like they were well thought out and written and very well choreographed.
And they sucked.
Then he goes and make fucking Freeman's Mind. This fucking bullshit that anybody can fucking jerk off and make in fucking 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, as another person who's trying to create videos, I look at it as like, oh man, this kind of fucking sucks, right? Like, you know?
I don't know. Like, have you watched Game Dungeon?
Maybe one or two videos. It's hard. I don't want to keep track of him that much because I understand like he's still doing the Freeman's Mind. Is he still doing that Freeman's Mind with like Half-Life 2?
Yeah. He's made it to Ravenholm.
It's just I hate how much he drags it out. So because he does that, I kind of tune out a little bit. But once in a while, obviously, I do pay attention. Like, of course, I pay attention once in a while, but not all the time. So.
Well, like I think you ought to give like a Game Dungeon like a big like proper chance. I think it's his best content because it's literally just Ross doing like video essays about like weird games that he finds, and he like puts in all the effort of like playing through them, even though they're like super old and like have no walkthroughs and are like bullshit. Like he puts a lot of effort into those videos, and he does a lot of research.
That whole footy pie. I'm in the corner of the fucking screen here. I'm gonna react to it. Oh my god, I'm so scared.
No, he doesn't do that. It's not like live or anything.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
And he's covered some really like interesting fucking shit. Like he finds stuff that nobody else would find.
Yeah, and like I say, I don't know. I just see the thing I keep going back to is the fact that he cried for a year that he moved to Los Angeles and regretted it, and it's like,
I mean, what are we talking about?
Offered
2014 here.
I don't know what year this was, but like say, my whole thing is like I was offered to move there too, and it's like, you know what, fuck that. And I mean, I didn't really end off in like a better place either, but I mean, gosh, he fucking like oh yeah, God, guys, everybody who is fucking over the age of 20 has moved somewhere where they regret, but they don't fucking cry about it for over a fucking year, and that is one of my biggest problems with Ross.
Xanatos, what you're talking about right now, like if this happened in like 2014, that's something that went down, back when I was 15 years old. I'm now 23.
I would have been 11.
So whatever it is that Ross was complaining about back in those days, I just.
It's just like, oh man, Machinima sucks, guys. Don't you guys realize that? Well, I hope you feel sorry for me.
I mean, was he wrong about Machinima sucking?
No. To fucking use that as like your fucking calling card is kind of bullshit. Like it's so easy to throw them under the bus. Like that's so easy to do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because they were shit.
I think he was just a guy who was complaining about his life. He's not had the most stable life.
Well, none of us have.
So Xanatos, I gotta ask you. I want to know. You know, besides your plan to start a family and get that part of your life going, I really want to know. You know, what are your plans on getting kind of, you know, your life in order? You know, you say you're working a dead-end job. What's your plan to remedy that? You know, I want to know kind of like what actions you're taking.
I'm gonna get personal here. I don't know. Okay, so action I'm taking is nothing, but I will just give you like an insight to kind of like my personal life in the last 10 years. Okay, if that's okay.
Sure,
I'm not taking much action to get there. Okay, so I grew up in a town that had a lot of drinkers and a lot of bars, and I grew up in a very Catholic family that maybe had like 1 or 2 beers at the most. And then you start dating these girls that are basically like from a family of alcoholics. And surprisingly, they can handle it really well. And like, you know, as somebody who grew up in a Catholic family that is not used to this kind of shit, you're kind of looking at this from an outsider like, what the fuck, right? So eventually, basically, long story short, let's fast forward. I became the very people that I hated and kind of became an alcoholic myself because I've been around so many like families and, you know, girls that like normalize like drinking and drinking heavily and like binge drinking. And I basically, you know, once I hit 30, became the very kind of person that I hated. And we've lost kind of the goals that we had in our 20s, and we've lost the motivation that we had back then. And unfortunately, I can't say that I have any goals right now. I mean, what do you want me? What are your goals? You know, I mean, do you got any goals? Because I sure don't.
I got some goals.
That's the most honest thing that I can tell you right now. Like, you know, we've lost our way. And saying, I don't know if you are the same way or if you have a clear kind of goal in mind, but I sure don't. So
here's what I really want to see, Xanatos. Let me. I want to leave the conversation.
Me finding a girlfriend again after many years, which is probably never going to happen.
No, listen, I want to leave it on something. You know, I want to leave it on this. You know, Xanatos. Growing up, I watched your content. You made me laugh a lot. You know, a lot of the stuff that you'd made back in the day, when I was a kid, that was like influential to me. It influenced, you know, my sense of humor. It had an impact on me. And for that reason, you know, I want to see you. I want to see you get things in better shape. I want to see you get things together, and I want to see you, you know, start having a more positive attitude about life. And I want to see you have that positive attitude because action was taken to actually get your life back on track in a really good way.
But then I agree, but you also have to realize, like, I set myself up in a situation where I am going to fail. And I set myself.
It's a world of infinite possibilities, Xanatos. I don't want to hear any more excuses. You're not a stupid guy.
No, it's not an excuse. Like, you have to realize, like, I wanted to like have this like group kind of like circus kind of like atmosphere, and that's obviously a very hard thing to control. And once I realized I can't control it, everything fucking fell apart. And that is exactly why we have this kind of I don't give a fuck kind of negative attitude, right? Because oh shit, I couldn't like manage this situation, so well, what can I do now? You know, so that's what you have to understand. And you know, you have to realize, like, if you're going to kind of like plan for this kind of thing, you have to be ready to deal with it. You know, like, you can't like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have this big extravagant plan, and then when it comes time to deal with it, I have no clue. And that's kind of where I went wrong. So you have to know what the fuck you're doing, especially if you have kind of like these big, grandiose plans. I say, I'm sorry to use these big words for all you non-English speaking people out there, but grandiose. Like I say, you can Google it. Type it on Google, grandiose. Yeah, big, grandiose plans. You don't want to have those, ever. That's my
Well,
advice.
then how about this, Xanatos? How about you put together a plan on what life is going to look like for you in the next year, and you get back to us on it?
I'm drowning in my own fucking bullshit, probably.
No,
so,
that sucks. No,
we'll do.
be
We'll
real.
do.
Come on, I want to hear you. I want to hear you take charge and give a shit about your own life. You know?
Yeah, but still, I mean, let's say let's do some videos or some shit because that's all I really know. I've tried to venture out into kind of other realms, and it's been just a fucking disaster. And obviously, at least you have had the foresight to do the fucking accounting shit, and I haven't. So
Well, I mean, my
you're
videos.
you're gonna be better than I am. So there you go.
Like, yeah, but you're Xanatos. You're in your early 30s, right?
32. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
32, dude. You do realize that's still fairly young. You're not even like at your midlife crisis yet.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
You've got so much fucking time.
You think
man.
you are. You think you are, but you're not. Yeah.
No, you are. You're still young, and you're acting like you're fucking 60 years old, and that you've squandered your whole life. Like you have so much fucking time, man. Like get real.
Honestly, like I would never recommend moving to a big city, but in this day and age, maybe it's a good idea so you can network with people that have more things in common with you. Because if you live in a small town, that's very, very hard these days.
And on top of that, Xanatos, I want to see you pursue something that's more realistic. You know, like I don't want to see you hopping, straight back into making videos because
100 million views coming soon.
Yeah, because hopping into like these videos I do, I just do these for fun. It's my hobby, and as soon as it's not fun, I take a 2-year break, and my fans all fucking like scream. That's a privilege that you get to have, not giving a shit about your videos when you have something like solid backing you up. Like a boring job.
But you still do give a shit, though. That's the thing. You can say you don't give a shit, but deep down, you still do.
I mean, yeah, I give a shit. It's just that like my life isn't depending on it, you know? Like as soon as I stop giving a shit about it, I could just like leave it.
It's
and
honestly a
lose
good
nothing.
like thing to end on. Like even if people think you're the fucking shit, who cares? Like just leave it there, end it there. And if I fucking took that advice, I'd probably be better off.
And you still can be. Stop acting like you're at the end of your fucking life. All right, Xanatos, I think I'm gonna bring the stream to an end.
We'll see you around. Say, talk to me soon. Message me later, okay, please?
All right, sure, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cut this up and like post it because there's probably some good sound bites in here.
Yeah, probably somewhere. We got 3 hours of content. There's got to be at least 5 minutes I can squeeze out of it, right?
Catch that victim, make him square.